Governor, it's Steph back for another video, and that's all I'm gonna do for a British accent because I can't really rock the British accent to begin with. But I'm happy to be back for another video. Today I'm gonna be talking about books that are set in England. So these are not necessarily books that are written by English authors, but many of them are. But this is a start of a new series I'd like to do about books from around the world, specifically books set in different countries around the world. We're going to start off with Peter Pan. Peter Pan, of course, is set in England. That's where Wendy and the Darling children first meet Peter, and then Peter Pan whisks them off to Neverland in that iconic scene from the Disney film where they're flying past the tower, not the Tower of London, where they're flying past Big Ben. So that is at the bottom of this list because the beginning and end are in England, but of course the primary bulk of the story takes place in Neverland. Next up on our list is The Chronicles of Narnia. Again, another story where we start off with the children in England escaping from the city of London into the countryside because of the war and the air raids. So the children are sent into the country to reside safely until the war is over. What ends up happening is Lucy, the youngest of the Pevensey children, finds a wardrobe which leads to a magical world called Narnia. Thus, the Chronicles of Narnia begin, and the bulk of this story again takes place in Narnia, but we do have the beginning and end of that story is also set in England. It's a fantastic start to a fantastic series by C.S. Lewis. Moving on, our next ones are Secret Garden and The Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Both of these stories take place in England. Both of them are about young girls who are coming from sad familial circumstances and end up discovering a new family. In The Secret Garden, we follow Mary Lennox, who has been sent to her uncle's home after her parents passed away from cholera in India. And we have a little princess. A Little Princess is about a young girl who is sent off to a boarding school where she finds the way to make the best of her trying circumstances, and she becomes resilient and keeps her chin up and stays optimistic despite the hardships that she endures before being reunited with a new family of sorts. Next up on our list, we have books by Charles Dickens. So we have many of his iconic works of literature, including Oliver Twist, A Christmas Carol, Great Expectations, Bleak House. Charles Dickens wrote in England and specifically, primarily in London. I haven't read all of his works, but the ones I have read are fantastic. He focuses on trying to feature the disparity between the classes in England at the time, the struggles of the poor and lower classes, and the unfair judicial system for the lower classes. So it's an interesting observation to see how Charles Dickens, unlike some of the other authors that we've read so far, creating worlds where the circumstances are more realistic to the time period and kind of portrays the dire need of some of our lower classes and speaks up for, in a fictional sense, he's speaking up for social justice. So very interesting to take a look at. Next up on our list is Agatha Christie. Now, not all of Agatha Christie's novels take place in England, but many of them do, including the Miss Marple series. Sneakily knows how to solve crimes and very slyly solves mysteries, specifically murder mysteries, in and around the English countryside. I've read 2 of hers so far. One of them was for my book club back in the fall, and it was phenomenal. So I'd highly recommend checking out A Murder is Announced if you're looking for somewhere to start with Miss Marple. Other Agatha Christie books include The Murder on the Orient Express, which of course doesn't take place in London, so that one can't be included in the list, and Detective Poirot, who is another one of Agatha Christie's primary detectives, has an extensive collection of books in the Agatha Christie library, but a lot of them are him traveling around Europe and Africa, so can't include them in this list. Next up on this list is Jane Austen. All of Jane Austen's novels take place in England. She chose to write about what she knew, what she was familiar with, what she was comfortable with, and she did not write beyond that. Being a single woman who understood the trials of women who are looking for a spouse in her day and age and the kind of social, economic, and all kinds of predicaments that they could be in or the situations they could be exposed to. That's what she included in her novels, where women and men meeting each other and determining whether or not to start their life together as a married couple. So Jane Austen incorporates all that, and she never writes beyond what she's familiar with. Since she's never married during her lifetime, she doesn't write about couples who are married. So she stuck to what she knew. She grew up in the English countryside, and she wrote stories about that as well to bring smiles to people's faces, and she certainly succeeds at that. And of course, which is why she's so legendary even today. Our next up on our list is an iconic, I could not include a list without him, is Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He's influenced so many films and literary works to this day, and he has created the iconic mystery solver, the iconic detective, the iconic personification of how to go about figuring out whodunit cases. So Study in Pink is the original Sherlock story, and then there have been so many from them. We have the iconic Sherlock Holmes from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and that includes his friend John Watson, also his partner in crime in solving crimes, and so many other legendary characters from the Sherlock Holmes world that we know today. Last but not least on our list, you've probably already guessed it, is the one, the only, The Boy Who Lived. Harry Potter, of course, is such an iconic work that although it has not been published as long as any of the other books on this list, it is an iconic work of literature that has sold millions and millions of copies and has been popular not only on the page, but also the audiobooks are very popular. Of course, the films are very well known. Now we have a Harry Potter amusement park. So there's so many ways to explore the world of Harry Potter, not just exclusively for Harry, but the rich number of characters and all the personalities and the different social classes and the lively magical moments that happen during Harry Potter over his course of his 7 years at Hogwarts. And of course now we have the Fantastic Beasts movies that are coming out, and we have the play, The Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, in England, in the West End, and in New York on Broadway. So there's certainly no doubt that Harry Potter has not only been an influential part of our culture, but also has shaped the lives of many people as they've grown up with Harry Potter and are now sharing it with the next generation. And J.K. Rowling created her nonprofit, Lumos, to benefit others who are in need. So it's very interesting to see these books who have withstood the test of time, who have been legends in the work of literary novels. We have these characters and these stories and these authors who have created iconic pieces of literature that we still love and enjoy today. Don't forget in the comments to tell me if I've missed anything in this film. Also, if there are any that are your favorites or things that you want to read and haven't got to yet, I'd love to hear about it. And hopefully I'll be doing more of these videos from books that are set in different parts of the world. So feel free to tell me in the comments which countries you want to see next. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you find some sunshine in your day, find a book that makes you happy and brings a smile to your face, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching.